So I want to talk about the top mistakes that you make in youth that you regret later in life. The top mistakes that you make in your 20s that you regret in your 40s and 50s. You might not even really understand it in your 30s yet because you spend time trying to fix up what you messed up in your 20s. The top mistakes that you make in your 20s and possibly even throughout your 30s while you're trying to recover and while you're trying to set the record straight financially that you regret in your 40s and 50s. And don't even get me started on your 50s and 60s and 70s. These are the top mistakes that we make. And it mostly comes from lack of knowledge. And sometimes it also comes from a lack of desire to even understand the knowledge. I saw a post on social media just some time ago, and the young man is basically saying he loves living beyond his means. He is doing well-ish. I thought, okay, some people are reveling in the whole idea of being financially irresponsible. And I know that that was my situation at one point in my life when I was living check to Monday. I knew things were out of control, but I was having too much fun to stop. I was having too much fun, or maybe I wasn't having fun, but I was too busy trying to be something that I was not. And I was too busy burying my head in the sand in order to actually do something about the problem that I knew good and well I had. And the problem that I had was that I never had enough money. No matter how much money I made, I always found a way to be broke. And it's not like I didn't know I was broke when I was broke. Because let me tell you something. One thing you know for sure is when you don't have any money, you are crystal clear. You may not know if the rain is coming. You may not know what the weather's going to be. You may not know how your boo is going to act. You may not know, what's going to happen in your job or your career. But let me tell you something. You know when that bank account is at zero and your reserves and everything is all tapped out and you have limited mobility. So I want to go over these things because I think if we start to understand them, more importantly, share this with someone that you know. If you are listening to the Millionaires Roundtable, you shouldn't just be listening with your ears. You should be listening with your hands. That means your hands should be writing because thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through your fingertips. You should be listening with a replay in mind, knowing that you are going to, if you didn't get to hear it all, you're going to hear it all again. So make sure that you tell somebody to go to linmillionaire.com because this is extremely important. The first thing, and I'm not going to say these in any particular order because they're all important, but one of the things that that we fail to handle in our youth that we regret later in life, or one of the mistakes that we make in our youth financially that we regret later in life. It was the first big mistake that I made. And it's not just the mistake that I made, it's the mistake that millions of people are making all the time. And that is mastering your credit. That is the number one mistake that young people make that they regret later in life. And sometimes the regret, you don't even have to wait until late, okay? Because all you have to do is go out there and get a couple of credit cards and make one wrong move, two wrong moves. And guess what? The next 7 years of your life can literally be destroyed. And then the next 7 years after that can be destroyed because of a ripple effect, because of a domino effect. So you make a couple of late payments and then you have no access to capital. You have no access to lines of credit. You've got great ideas and then you make more mistakes to cover up the last mistake. And the reason I say master credit, the number one mistake that is made in youth is failing to master credit is because when you are young, when you first have access to get a credit score at the age of 18, when you are legally able to enter into a debt, into a contract, basically to pay somebody back when you turn 18, is because that's when you have the most points. That's when you have the greatest opportunity. So one of the things that I did for my kids that was not done for me, and it's not Grandma B's fault because she didn't have any credit. She didn't use credit back then. She used cash. She got paid in cash, and whatever cash she didn't get, if she got her Social Security check, she went to the currency exchange, she cashed it, she paid her bills right there, and that was it. Grandma B had more money making, I guess, $10,000 a year or $7,000 a year, whatever it was at that time. She had more money making $7,000 a year than I had making $7,000 a week. Okay? She made $7,000 a year. I made $7,000 or more a week. Sometimes more than that, sometimes $10,000, $20,000 a week. And she had more money than me because she knew how to manage it. But had I been trained on mastering my credit, then things would have panned out for me a little better. So how do you master credit? One, if you are a young person and you have parents who have good credit, then as a young person, you should be an authorized user on at least one credit card, one bank credit card that has a good payment history, that has an excellent payment history. If that credit card is from one of the major banks, or perhaps American Express, and not the charge card, a credit card that has a monthly payment, then that is a great way to establish right out the gate that you have a credit score, but more important, that you have history. Okay, history is really important when establishing a credit score. So you want to be sure that you've got that history. If you have at least two charge cards or two credit cards that could be on your credit report, then that's great too. The harvest is here and the time is now. It's your season to
I'm
win.
financial expert Lynn Richardson. You may have seen me on Good Morning America giving financial advice. When you get my freedom package, you get the 21 days to financial freedom and how to start a home-based business. See you in class.
So we're talking about the top mistakes that you make in youth that you regret in your 40s and 50s or whatever age you are in life. The top mistakes, the top money mistakes that you make in youth, because there's a whole lot of other mistakes that we make. We'll talk about those at another time. But the top money mistakes that you make in youth that you regret later in life, number one is mastering credit. And why is mastering credit a big mistake? Or failing to master credit. Let me repeat. Why is failing to master credit a big mistake? The reason why it's a big mistake is because when you are a young adult, when you turn 18, and when you enter the credit game, that's when you have the ability to score the most points. If you do the right thing, if you take the right steps, and if you are aware of your limitations and you do not try to exceed them, okay? So it's very easy to get a 700 to 800 credit score if you start off correctly. If you start off incorrectly, if you get collections, judgments, repossessions, late payments, it is almost impossible to correct quickly, all right? So if you make the mistakes, it's going to take some time to recover. If you start off correctly, you'll never have anything to correct. And guess what? The odds are in your favor for you to have a 700 plus credit score. All of my children, my 3 girls, all have 700 plus credit scores. My oldest daughter, I think she has the highest in the family. She and my husband are right there nipping at 800 if they're not already into the 800s on some of their, on one or more of their credit bureaus. All right. So what did I do? I ensured that they had a line of credit that I had already established that had a perfect long history. So there were no late payments on that line of credit, and it had been in place 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years or whatever it was. Okay. So that's really important. And then I was very strategic and I had conversations with them about their credit. All right. I talked to them about the importance of making sure that they paid that bill on time and the importance of ensuring that they had auto pay. So if their credit card payment became due, then they would not risk paying it late because it would automatically come out of a checking account that I see, that I monitor. All right. So not only did I help them master it early, I also support and supported them in the process. So I say past tense and current tense because I'm still supporting them in that process of ensuring that they are mastering their credit. All right. Now, some say you should never, ever get a credit card. I disagree with that. I disagree with the whole notion of you should never have any credit. You're going to need credit to buy a house. You may need credit to expand a business idea, or you may need credit in order to establish credibility with some kind of a partnership that you're entering to, a business deal that you're entering into. They do background checks for certain things, and you want to show that you have demonstrated the ability to be responsible with your credit. All right. The other thing about credit is this: credit is a muscle, and the more you exercise it properly, the stronger it gets. The more you exercise your credit muscle, the stronger that muscle is going to get. So I wanted to teach my daughters early on how to exercise that credit muscle. So by the time my oldest daughter, after graduation, she was able to buy some real estate. She was able to, based on her own credit merit, based on her own work that she has done for herself, she's able to buy real estate, and she's able to realize a lot of equity with the purchase, because the purchase was made during the pandemic when prices were, dirt cheap, basically. At the early time of the pandemic, when nobody was buying anything, when we were at the top of the second shutdown. So it's important for us to master those things so that we can be in position to reap the rewards and reap those benefits later in life. Again, we're talking about the top mistakes made in youth that you regret later in life. Now, what happens if you made some mistakes in youth with your credit? Like me, I got 200,000 credit cards, couldn't pay anybody. When the creditors would call and say, Lynn, can you borrow the money? I'd say, can I borrow it from you? I had all kind of funny answers. When I got out into the real world, my funny answers were no longer funny. Okay, my furniture had to come from Rent-A-Center. You all don't remember Rent-A-Center? Come on now. No, tell me your age. Do you know about Rent-A-Center? I had to get my furniture from Rent-A-Center. My first car was worse than a lemon. Okay, it was a sour lemon. It was a black lemon. Okay, sour would have been great for that lemon. All right, it was terrible. I think it broke down on the way home from the dealer, and I thought I was doing something. And it took me years to recover. But what happened, there was a domino effect. In the domino effect, I tried to make more money to make up for the money that I messed up. But I was still spending beyond my means. And so a bad problem eventually got worse and worse and worse until I finally hit rock bottom and filed bankruptcy. And then I had to pay that bankruptcy off. I filed a Chapter 13. And if I had learned my lesson then, I could have been good after the bankruptcy, 2 years after the bankruptcy, but I kept spiraling in financial mistakes one after the other. And then when I finally got it together, the recession of 2008 came and I lost everything. So, and I had to file bankruptcy again. So once again, these are some things that you can do early on. Master credit as young as you can. Master it. Master it. Get the right trade lines on your credit report. Try to avoid those department store credit cards. Try to go for a bank card. If you're going to get a car loan for a pre-driven vehicle. And I'll talk about real estate later, but then it's going to set you up to be able to get the best kinds of deals when you are trying to make other transactions. The next thing, mistake that you make in youth that you regret later in life: looking for a job instead of managing entrepreneurship. Looking for a job as opposed to managing entrepreneurship. So you're taught to go to school, get a good education, get a good job. Grandma B taught me to go to church, all of that. Well, she was not church, she was a Jehovah's Witness, but go to your religious place and wear clean underwear in case you get hit by a bus, right? We learn those things. But what we really need to learn is how to manage entrepreneurship at an early age. Now, I saw a post. I saw someone they did a whole big write-up and said, everybody's not an entrepreneur. Why not? They said everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. Why not? That's like saying everybody's not meant to be free. Come on now. You need multiple streams of income. And the core skill set that you need in managing multiple streams of income are those that are utilized by an entrepreneur. I'm tired of people telling these false narratives. That is one of the biggest mistakes that we make as a people, and that is not understanding how to manage entrepreneurship, which is the core for multiple streams of income at an early age. The harvest is here and the time is now. It's your season to win.
Lynn Richardson's Entrepreneurs Academy is where you literally learn to run your life like a business. Master financial coach Lynn Richardson and her team of experts offer master classes, webinars, live trainings, and other tools and resources to help you start, make over, build, and maintain a profitable and relevant business. Learn how to start a home-based business, how to write a book, how to hire your kids, how to be a real estate investor, how to build business credit, how to invest in the stock market. Try 21 Days to Financial Freedom. Join the Home Buyers Club, the 700 Credit Club, and other premium services, classes, and career training. As a member of the Entrepreneurs Academy, you will have access to the Members Portal with webinars, coaching tools, replays, and masterclasses. So join Entrepreneurs Academy today and be on your way to financial freedom. For more information about Lynn Richardson's books, webinars, and masterclasses, go to asklynn.org.
So what is the action of the day and the word of the hour? Let me start with the word of the hour. The word of the hour is to train up a child in the way that he or she should go, and they would never depart from it. Now, that's not to say that your child won't make some mistakes. That's not to say that you will do all that you can and your child will choose a different path. That's not to say that you will do all that you can and your child won't even be in a position where they could take advantage of what it is that you're teaching them. But that does not absolve you from doing the teaching, okay? That does not absolve you from attempting to be the model. That does not absolve you from doing the right thing once you know the right thing. Now, you know that I always say this: knowledge is not power until it is put into action. So if you have a young person in your life, even if you've made mistakes, one of the biggest mistakes that we make is thinking that we have to be perfect in order to teach the young people something. No, if you have been imperfect, you are the best person to teach them what not to do. So the action of the day is to get your youth in order. Master their credit, help them understand some of the tools of the money game and the rules of the money game. The harvest is here and the time is now. It is your season.
Hi, I'm financial expert Lynn Richardson. You may have seen me on Good Morning America, The Steve Harvey Show, or Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. Guess what? Did you know you can get your money back if you hire your kids? You can get your money back if you go out to eat. You can get your money back if you go on a vacation. Well, guess what? In my book, Get Your Money Back, Tax Deductions You Never Know About, I'm going to teach you how you can get your money back with your home-based business legally, ethically, and all with the permission of the IRS. Just go to asklynn.org.